Hello everyone. Hi. So in this series, we're going to talk about interest, which is one of the most common topics, very important but very manageable. So we're going to talk about the basic concepts, get familiar with all the tips and tricks, and then we will dive into some practice questions. So first and foremost, let's understand what is interest. Interest is basically an amount that you pay extra for a service of taking loan. For example, let's say that I have a bank and the bank is giving a person some loan. Now, when the person has to return the same loan to the bank, they have to pay something extra, and that extra amount is your interest. So now he has to pay loan along with some interest, and this is the basic concept. Now let's understand the maths around it. So loan is basically your principal amount. They call it principal. Principal is your loan amount, right? And we will denote it using P. Of course, we know that we are studying interest. We will denote it with I. Now there is always R, which is rate of interest. For example, a high rate of interest means that the extra amount will be higher, and a lower rate of interest means that the extra amount will be much lower. So, rate it can be 10%, it can be 20%, and it is always expressed in a percentage format. Okay. Now, this loan we talked about is called P. This is interest, and together they are called amount, which is denoted with A. So amount is that principal plus the extra interest. Okay? So we have to remember this basic formula, that how do you calculate interest? You take your principal amount, you take the rate that you have to pay as per whatever rate there is, and then there is time. So if you take a loan for 1 year, you have to pay less amount, but if you take this loan for 5 years, the interest will definitely increase because you're taking more time to pay back your principal. The more time you take, the more interest you have to pay, because now you're taking the service for a longer time. I hope you get the core concept. So this is your first formula that you need to remember, which is very basic. If I have taken a loan of 10,000 rupees at a basic 10%, so we write it in, if the rate is 10%, we write it as 10 upon 100. And let's say I take it for 2 years. So this turns out to be, let's cancel all our zeros. So this is 2,000 rupees. So 2,000 rupees is what I have to pay when I pay the same amount of 10,000 back after 2 years. Alright, I hope that this one is clear. Now let's take some other examples so that we get very comfortable with our calculations. Let's say this time we have a principal of not 10,000, let's say 5,000 we have, right? And again, let's take 10% rate. Now, if you look at the whole calculation, let's say this is the same guy who took the loan. For year 1, I would say that the principal is 5,000, the rate is 10%, so the amount that he has to pay. Now, we need to understand it in a way that we can calculate all of this very quickly. So, amount will be nothing but 5,000 and 5,000 plus 10% of 5,000, because this is what we understood, that you have to pay 10% extra every year. So this turns out to be 1 plus 10%, right? Which becomes 5,500. Now let's say year 2. Again, the principal is 5,000 because the principal always remains same. Currently we are discussing simple interest, okay? And in simple interest, the principal always remains same. Rate is also 10% throughout the years. Now, if you look at it, the amount formula will be 5,000 plus 10% of 5,000 into 2 years, because now it is happening for 2 years. So this calculation becomes 5,000, and then what is this 1 plus 10 upon 100 into 2. So this comes out to be 1.02 into 5,000 or 6,000 rupees. Okay? So if he could not pay after year 1, 5,500 rupees, if he could not pay, then in the year 2, when the bank comes back to take the loan, they have to pay 6,000. So if they keep on increasing the years, every time the amount will keep on increasing. So it's better to pay off the loan as quickly as possible. Okay. Now, this is basically simple interest. There will not be any question that is asking you to apply the basic formula, but we need to understand the basics so that we can, take care of complex questions.